Wysteria, energy, twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Legends of Britany. We are now on the Song of the Pilot. One of the most famous of Breton nautical traditions tells of the chivalry displayed by a Breton crew toward the men of a British warship. During the American War of Independence, much enthusiasm was excited in France in connection with the valiant struggle for liberty in which the American colonies were engaged. A number of Breton ships received letters of marque enabling them to fight on the American side against Great Britain, and these attempted to blockade British commerce. The Surveillante, a Breton vessel commanded by Coudic de Kergaula, encountered the British ship Quebec, commanded by Captain Farmer. In the course of the action, the Surveillante was nearly sunk by the British cannonade, and the Quebec went on fire. But Breton and Britain, laying aside their swords, worked together with such goodwill that most of the British crew were rescued, and the Surveillante was saved, although the Quebec was lost. And this notwithstanding that nearly every man of both crews had been wounded in the fighting. So we're going to look now at the Song of the Pilot, but I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to tell it you more like a reading of a poem, because I really wouldn't know how this song would go. Yo ho, ye men of Sulniac, we ship today at Venice. We sail upon a glorious track to seek an Englishman. Our saucy sloop, the Savante, must keep the seaways clear. From Ushant in the north to Nantes, aboard her, time near. See, yonder is the British craft that seeks to break blockade. St. George's banner floats abaft her lowering colonnade. A flash and lo, her thunder speaks, her iron tempest it does fly. Beneath her bows and seaward breaks, and hissing sinks and dies. Thunder replied to thunder, then the ships rasped side by terrible side. The battle-hungry Breton men a boarding sally tried, but the stern steel of Britain flashed, and the spite of Breton vaunt, the lads of Morbihan were dashed back on the Surveillante. I think it's Surveillante. Then was a grim encounter seen upon the seas that day. Who yields when there is strife between Britain and Britanny? Shall lesser Britain rule the waves and check Britannia's pride? Not while her frigates oaken staves still cleave unto her side. But hold, sea, devouring fire, as sees the stout Quebec. The seething sea runs high and higher, the Cervantes a wreck. Their cannon shot has breached our side, our bolts have fired the foe. Quick to the pumps, no longer bide, below, my lads, below. The yawning leak is filled, the sea is cheated of its prey. Now, Bretons, let the Britons see the heart of Britanny. Brothers, we come to save our swords. Our sheathed and our hands are free. There is a fiercer fight toward, a fiercer foe than we. A long sea day, till sank the sun, Briton and Breton wrought, and Great and Little Britain won, the noblest fight ever fought. It was a sailor's victory. Oh, a pride and sordid gain, good grant for ever peace at sea, between the Britons twain. I like that, it's very cool indeed. Very interesting. See, so that, I mean, those two last ballads I guess, when ballads were told, they were stories because what used to happen was, I'll explain why they're called ballads. It would be a bard that would tell the story, and he would tell it in bardic song, and that's how the folk tales, would get from one place to another because the bards would go around singing them. That's why they are called ballads of their time. Though they are situations and circumstances that happened, what actually happened will have been sung in the Ballad of the Bards, you see. So everything comes out as a ballad. Every folk story will have started with its own song. If it's well known enough, if it's famous enough, then the bard would definitely seek to do it justice by singing about it. It's a well-known thing that happened back then. But those tales were two that seemed to have enemies fighting against one another, or sort of preparing to fight against one another, only to save each other in the end and come together. Very nice stories indeed. Anyway, when we come back to the Legends of Britany, we're moving on to the black art and its ministers. Yeah, they call it black arts, but don't take that too deeply. Don't think about it too much, and don't presume that we're going to be running with the devil and demons on his back, and it's not like that, okay? It's really not. It's just a way that it's worded, I guess. But don't think about it too much in the dramatic ways as what you would perceive that to be. Thank you for listening to this episode, and many blessings.
Wysteria. Energy. Twister.